Welcome back, and before the break we saw Alison demonstrating the effect of a cordless phone in the environment of our home. So, what's the solution?
In terms of a cordless phone, it's to have a corded landline. So the ones with the spiral cord connecting the handset to the base.
Okay, so even though that may, we can't wander around the house, however...
Well, you can, because they have available long leads.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, I understand that it's not the same.
Yeah.
However, it's a really, really important thing to do to look after your health. So everyone has to make up their own mind about that.
Yeah.
I guess the bottom line is, how much do you value your health? Or more importantly, maybe perhaps the health of your family.
Yeah.
Because kids are particularly susceptible, much, much more vulnerable to this than adults.
Yeah. Well, also, and this will lead into wireless broadband, but also just on that, Alison, it's not just a person's own home. Because of the power of some of these cordless phones, they radiate how far out?
Oh, you can get repeaters on them which take them a couple of hundred metres. Absolutely.
So this is where something like this, the whole idea of Conversations for a Better World is about starting to realise we're all in this together.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in people starting to be mindful about their own health, they're also starting to be mindful about the health of their neighbours. And as neighbours, we need to be mindful of the health of all our children.
Absolutely. I mean, in an ideal world, we would all be working together to clean up our local environment.
Yes.
Together. So it would be wonderful if people took away their own cordless phones and then were able to initiate the conversation with their neighbours.
Yes.
And say, look, this is what I've done. Please let me show you the facts. This is why I've done it, because I believe it's so important. Perhaps if you went to a cordless phone as well, together we can clear up the air to a much greater extent.
Excellent.
And you never know, if you initiate a conversation with a neighbour like that, you might find out that they haven't been sleeping, or they have allergies, or they're feeling anxious, or they're depressed, or you might find that they have a load of unexplained symptoms themselves that they've never been able to associate with their phone.
Yep, yep. And you can do one of two things. You could give them a copy of your book of this, or direct them to this clip on YouTube for them to see for themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's just say that a person has gone from the cordless phone to a landline phone.
Yes.
Why is that beneficial in having broadband rather than wireless broadband?
Well, what we're talking about is having a cabled connection to the internet rather than wireless. And the difference is, whenever you have a cable, I wish I had a cable here, whenever you have a cable, the radiation is encased within the cable and it's taken from A to B.
Right.
So if you want to get away from it, you move away from the cable, you move away from the source. With wireless, for anything, as I said with cordless phones, for anything to work wirelessly, the radiation is spread into the air, it's sprayed. So it fills the air so that wherever you work, you're picking up a signal.
Yeah.
This modem here is actually a cabled modem. You can see the cable at the back, but it also has a wireless component to it. This is a radio frequency meter. It's going to first of all shows a reading on a gauge, but also it makes the radiation audible through the noise. First of all, I'm going to turn it on, and the wireless component of this will be turned off. Then I'll turn the wireless component on, and you'll be able to hear the difference when the radiation starts coming out. So this is no wireless. Wireless. I'm going to turn that down. All I've done is turn the volume down so you can hear me. You can quite clearly hear the pulsing. And so if you're sitting here working on your computer, you're being exposed to that radiation. Just to prove the point, I'll turn it off again now. So all I did there was turn the wireless component off, and that's now okay. So if you turn off all the Wi-Fi and you stick a cable in the back of your computer, it just gets rid of all that radiation in the air.
Yeah. So all that, what do they call the smog?
Electrosmog.
Electrosmog.
But also the other added advantage of cable connection is it's more secure,
Yep.
it's faster, it's more reliable. So it's not only better for you, it gives you far superior connectivity as well.
So I guess yet again, people have got to weigh up a loss of a little bit of convenience with a much better, what do I want to say here? A much better overview of how to live a healthier life. Yet again, not just for themselves, but also they're not impacting on others. This keeps being the key message.
And I think the other key message here is no one is asking you to do without this technology.
Absolutely not.
You absolutely use the computer, just use it in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same with phones. No one's saying stop using phones, they're just saying use it in a different way, make some adjustments, and it's going to be far, far better for you in the short term and certainly in the long term.
Yeah. And probably just on that, Alison came into the home where I was living in 2006, and bringing all her gizmos in, they just went through the roof. We had wireless broadband, we had cordless phones, we had microwaves, we had clock radios, we had the whole lot. And when we turned everything off, it was silent. And that's when I became an advocate of corded phones, broadband, and to this day, I don't have a smartphone. I still have your old-fashioned mobile phone because I know it's far better for my health. Yeah. So we're going to show a demonstration of that also, are we not, with a router?
We are, and I have to say that one of the things with smartphones, one of the reasons that they are can cause particular problems is the way in which people use the smartphones. Again, it's not only the phone call that's the issue, it's you get particularly high radiation levels, far higher radiation levels, when you're downloading information. So when you're downloading pictures, videos, emails, particularly when you're browsing the web, that's when you've got the highest levels of radiation.
Okay.
So if you have a simple phone, this is particularly important if people have got kids.
Yeah.
If they just give them a standard, if I understand that when kids travel away to school and back, parents like to be in touch with their kids and so they want them to have a phone. The critical thing for kids is, number one, is try and get them to, there are many critical things. One is not to carry it around with you on your body.
Yep.
This applies to everyone, but particularly to kids. Don't carry it on your body, carry it in a bag or have it away from you. Two is do not put the thing next to your head. Because the radiation goes into the brain. I've actually got some pictures that I'd be interested to show you.
Yes, okay, let's have a look at those now. And of course, if people have to hold it next to their head, it's about constantly changing sides, isn't it?
If you're in a situation where you absolutely have to, some research has shown that there's an effect after a very, very short period of time. Seconds, minutes. So if you have to do that, change from side to side. And the research has shown that there's far less chance of any health effects if you do that. The best thing is to either find a quiet spot and use a loudspeaker, go somewhere away from people, or to use a corded or an air tube headset, rather than a Bluetooth one, because Bluetooth has its own issues, particularly if people attach that to their ear and walk around all day.
So do you want to look at the... Because what you're going to show us now is what?
So this is a picture, if you can see, this is the outline of, this is a cross-section this way. So it's an aerial shot.
Brain.
It's an aerial shot looking down into someone's brain.
Okay.
That's been cut in half.
Yep.
So this is the outline of the skull.
Yeah.
This is the grey matter, literally the brain. This is a cell phone.
Held to the
ear.
Okay.
So you can see, these were taken from some research done by Om Gandhi in the States. And he's allowed me to use these, which is very kind. So this is a cell phone here. You can see the red spot, which is the ultimate hot spot there. And then you can see as the colour graduates, as the radiation goes right the way along that area of the head and into the brain. So that would be going, that's often referred to as a near field plume. So that would be going into the brain a matter of inches.